Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. The Marcos administration announces more officials who will be removed from and retained in the cabinet. The palace also says the president is open to discussions on returning to the fold of the International Criminal Court or ICC.
And Vice President Sara Duterte is skipping her former running mate's State of the Nation address for the second time. This information comes on the day the VP's father, former President Digong, marks his 100th day in ICC detention.
And it's exactly 1 week since Israel and Iran began trading missiles, raising uncertainty throughout the world about the real cost of this conflict. The Philippine government has also started moving nationals out of danger zones as Tel Aviv and Tehran show no signs of backing down.
Kung talaga pong dapat pa rin sumapi, mag-join sa ICC, pag-aaralan po ito mabuti natin, Pangulo. Open naman po ang Pangulo.
It's been 100 days since former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested and brought to The Hague. He will face trial for crimes against humanity before the International Criminal Court. Back then, President Marcos was asked about the possibility of rejoining the ICC. He just smiled and said the matter had not been discussed. Today, the palace says the chief executive is now open to talk about it. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said discussions on rejoining the ICC are now under consideration.
Castro was also asked about this after UN Special Rapporteur Irene Khan urged the Philippine government to ratify international human rights treaties and reinstate its previous commitment to the Rome Statute of the ICC. It was in March of 2018 when former President Rodrigo Duterte withdrew from the Rome Statute, the treaty that established the ICC. This is after the tribunal launched a probe into the Duterte administration's deadly war on drugs.
Pero ang sinabi po at ang suggestion po ng UN Rapporteur, ito po ay magandang suggestion at pag-aaralan po kung talaga pong dapat pa rin sumapi, right? Maging mag-join sa ICC at i-ratify yung ibang international human rights law. So pag-aaralan po ito mabuti natin, Pangulo. Opo, at kaya lang hindi po ngayon na pag-uusapan ang bagay na yan. Pero sa mga ganitong suggestion, open naman po ang Pangulo para po ito ay mapag-usapan.
Meantime, the palace also announced today the fate of several officials who submitted their courtesy resignations. President Marcos has retained the following officials: GSIS President and General Manager.
The resignations of the following government officials have been accepted. Presidential Advisor on Legislative Affairs, Mark Leandro Mendoza. Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs, Roman Felix. And PNOC Renewables Corporation President and CEO, John Arenas.
At patuloy pa rin po ang pag-e-evaluate at asahan po nila na mas marami pa pong mga pangalan na maaari pang maisama sa maaaring ma-retain o sa maaaring matanggal.
Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte will not be attending President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation address this year. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco said the House received a letter from the Office of the Vice President declining the invitation for the President's fourth SONA on July 28. No reason was given as to why VP Sara declined the formal invitation. VP Duterte first skipped the President's SONA last year, weeks after she resigned from the cabinet. When asked for her reason, Duterte quipped that she was declaring herself as a designated survivor, a practice in the U.S. where a cabinet official is brought to a secure location while the president delivers the State of the Union. This is to ensure the government continues if something happens to the president and the chain of succession. This comment was among those cited by the House when it impeached the vice president over her alleged efforts to destabilize the government.
We have received a letter from the office that she is not attending, but we are not excluding the possibility that she will attend, no? So there'll be a seat for her reserved at the center of the gallery, the VIP gallery. So if she decides to come, there will be a seat for her and her immediate staff. There will be, in fact, we will designate a holding room, for our Vice President and her staff, as we have done in the past.
Meanwhile, President Bongbong Marcos has departed for Japan to attend the World Expo 2025 and to hold business meetings. The president assigned as caretakers Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella, and Education Secretary Sonny Angara. Marcos is expected to return to the Philippines this weekend.
Back here in the Philippines, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, gave a heads up that they might approve a fare hike for jeepneys soon. According to LTFRB Chairman Teofilo Guadez, it will be a 1 peso across-the-board increase. No per-kilometer hike for now because it will already be too burdensome for consumers. They will be announcing the fare hike next week if global oil prices breach $80 per barrel. Currently, Dubai crude is already at $70 per barrel. LTFRB announced this in response to transport groups lobbying for a fare hike due to rising operational costs.
No family left on the streets. That's the goal of the DSWD's Pag-Abot program. And DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian says it's been running since 2023. He also talked about the woman seen crawling out of a drainage in Makati and how she's now one of thousands who benefited from the program. Gatchalian, who once served as mayor in Valenzuela, said the city had a similar initiative, giving him a template to scale the program nationally. Here's an excerpt from my interview with the DSWD secretary.
Ay, first of all, hindi kami nabudol.
Sige.
Lahat ng kaso na similar kay Rose, kasi we have this running program called Pag-Abot program.
Yes.
Since 2023,
Iba
it's
pa
been
yun sa
running.
AKAP.
Iba pa yan.
Sige.
Pag-Abot since 2023, when I joined the department, ang instruction ng presidente, walang pamilyang Pilipino dapat nakatira sa lansangan. Hindi kami nabudol because lahat to dumadaan sa assessment ng social worker. Okay. Hindi naman yung 80,000, hindi nang galing yan sa hangin. Says since 2023, you can fact check me on this, nakapublish yung mga memo circular namin kung ano yung range ng tulong na pwede ibigay.
Don't get me wrong, I believe in 4Ps. You need this intervention to get people out, yung parang wala ng pag-asa na, na kumbaga mula lolo hanggang apo.
Ang importante
hindi na nakaalis
siguro,
sa cycle, di ba?
Ang importante kasi siguro doon, what we can highlight
is politicize it.
It's not politicized because it's based on listahanan. Urban legend yung mga pinapasok yung pangalan because ang may control are the social workers. It goes through a targeting
walang
system.
local government,
None.
walang kinalaman na inalis na yon when?
Actually, since day one, wala siya.
Talaga ba?
Misconception yan. So akin says, you can fact check me on this and you can ask everybody. It's drawn from a list called listahanan. Alam mo yun, nung mayor ako, I would always say, kasi mayor ako, syempre may mga kabinete noon na pupunta. Sabihin ko, pag ako naging kabinete, ganito gagawin ko. There's always that
ngayon,
lingering
nandiyan
thought.
ka.
Exactly.
Hate
Like
it,
Pag-Abot. In Valenzuela, it's called Sagip. We had that when I was mayor. So sabi ko, let's expand it. It should be a mainstay. So kaya nung sinabi ng presidente yun, sabi ko, Mr. President, I just have the template for that.
So walang homeless sa Valenzuela?
Alam mo, Ses, you can go around today, kung meron ka man nakita, mamaya konti makita mo may social worker nang kumakausap.
Favorite expression ni Secretary, you can fact check me on this.
Confidential.
Oo.
That's good. That's good.
But yes, I will fact check you, Secretary. More conversations like this on The Long Take, airing Mondays through Fridays at 7 p.m. only here on One News.
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up on the big story. An initial exit plan is laid out for Filipinos who want to leave Israel and Iran, but evacuation remains voluntary still. The details of that when we return. Stay tuned.
Lahat po ng mapapanood ninyo sa susunod na mga eksena ay fake. Tandaan nyo po yan.
Ngayon, sobrang dali na gumawa ng fake na video. Muka, boses, pwedeng gayahin. Parang totoo, pero hindi.
Yung fake videos, pwedeng gamitin yan para manghingi ng OTP, password, o mag-spread ng maling impormasyon. Gaya nito.
Bro, legit to. High return in just 3 months. Wala kang gagawin.
Oh, boss, bayad ka. Minimum lang 50,000. May 100,000 ka na bukas.
Oops, fake lahat to. Pati kami FAK.
Nanalo ako, pero kailangan daw ng 1,000 pesos, tsaka OTP. Anong OTP?
Inday, na-aksidente si sir. Nasa ospital. Karon dayon nagpadala og kwarta.
Unsa? Ay, fake pala ako. Pati itong buong eksena.
Good morning po. May promo tayo ngayon. Tataasan natin ang credit limit ninyo.
Alright.
Pakisend po ng picture ng credit card nyo.
Oops, fake to.
Ingat tayong lahat sa fake. Gaya namin.
Lahat kami dito fake.
Pakipadala ng email address at phone number. Oops, fake ako.
Sorry, tita. Fake ako.
Ow, I miss you.
Sorry. Fake kami.
Gagawa ko ng batas na lahat ng senior high school students kailangan mag-necktie.
Bakit po necktie, sir?
Sa ikauunlad ng bayan, neckties ang kailangan. Ay, fake pala ako, pati itong press con.
Fake news and fake videos will become an even bigger problem. Pati lahat ito fake.
Ang nakakagulat, sobrang dali na gumawa ng video gamit ang AI. Sobrang galing na nito at gagaling pa.
Ang good news, mukhang mas madaling gumawa ng AI-generated video kesa magpaloko, kahit gano'ng kagaling pa yan.
Lalo na kaming mga kabataan ngayon, hindi na kami basta-basta maluloko.
Hindi mo kami maluloko, AI.
Gayunpaman, there are people we care about who can fall for this. At aminin, baka one day, mabiktima ka rin.
Saka sa totoo lang, lahat ng scam na to, lumana. But we've seen that every old scam tries to use the newest technology.
We have also seen that even the oldest scams and the newest toys are no match for knowledge, awareness, and watching out for each other.
Kaya let's be aware. Magtulungan tayo na maintindihan ng bawat isa ang mga nakikita at napapanood natin.
Uulitin ko lang ha, ang lahat ng nakita nyo, fake. Walang totoong tao dito. Pati ako fake. Okay, thanks, bye.
Lahat po ng mapapanood ninyo sa susunod na mga eksena ay fake. Tandaan nyo po yan.
Ngayon, sobrang dali na gumawa ng fake na video. Muka, boses, pwedeng gayahin. Parang totoo, pero hindi.
Yung fake videos, pwedeng gamitin yan para manghingi ng OTP, password, o mag-spread ng maling impormasyon. Gaya nito.
Bro, legit to. High return in just 3 months. Wala kang gagawin.
Oh, boss, bayad ka. Minimum lang 50,000. May 100,000 ka na bukas.
Oops, fake lahat to. Pati kami FAK.
Nanalo ako, pero kailangan daw ng 1,000 pesos, tsaka OTP. Anong OTP?
Inday, na-aksidente si sir. Nasa ospital. Karon dayon nagpadala og kwarta.
Unsa? Ay, fake pala ako. Pati itong buong eksena.
Good morning po. May promo tayo ngayon. Tataasan natin ang credit limit ninyo.
Alright.
Pakisend po ng picture ng credit card nyo.
Oops, fake to.
Ingat tayong lahat sa fake. Gaya namin.
Lahat kami dito fake.
Pakipadala ng email address at phone number. Oops, fake ako.
Sorry, tita. Fake ako.
Ow, I miss you.
Sorry.
You're watching The Big Story. An exit plan has been laid out for those who wanted or who want to evacuate Israel and Iran. This as the war is showing no signs of ceasing, with other foreign powers taking sides. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes with a report.
Exactly a week since the exchange of firepower between Israel and Iran broke out, fighting has become much more intense. Now, missiles are being launched left and right, and day and night no less. Iran has started targeting hospitals, and Israel has retaliated by bombing the Iranian Red Crescent Society and police headquarters in Tehran. The death toll is still rising on day 7 of the crisis, 224 in Iran, 24 in Israel. The warring parties are drawing deeper into their arsenal. Iran has resorted to using hypersonic missiles to avenge Israel's bombing of their nuclear site on June 13. The Middle Eastern country now has Yemen on its side, but Israel is still bent on ensuring all of Iran's nuclear and ballistic resources will get wiped out. That's especially since the United States seems to have taken a stand for Tel Aviv.
And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit. Remember 60 days, and then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number.
We know right now that Tehran understands exactly what the president is saying. He said 60 days. The world can believe it, and the world cannot believe it. He said 60 days. They had an opportunity to make a deal. They should have made a deal. President Trump's word means something. The world understands that.
But Tehran is adamant. It will not give in to imposition and even warned Washington that any meddling or intervention at this point would be 100% detrimental to the world superpower. As the war rages on, exit plans of various nations for their citizens are in place. But several have to wait for evacuation. At least 178 Filipinos have been begging to leave Israel and have requested repatriation. But the Israel airspace is still closed. The only option for evacuees now is to take the long route, a 2-hour land travel to Jordan, then off to their next destinations. This is the route taken by 21 Philippine government officials who had been stranded for a while in Israel. They are now safe in Jordan. 28 OFWs are scheduled to be transported to safety next. The Department of Migrant Workers is also closely monitoring the condition of 7 Filipinos who got wounded after a missile hit their home.
One of them, as you know, in critical condition, successful ang operation as far as we know, but still praying that she will get well soon.
On the other hand, in Iran, 14 Filipinos, including 10 tourists, have requested repatriation, but they have to travel by land to Turkmenistan for almost one whole day. Kakdak himself will supervise rescue efforts in Beirut and Jordan on Friday, June 20. He is assuring full assistance from different agencies of government for Filipinos caught in the crossfire in the Middle East. Mobile journalist Mary Monreyes, we are One News.
Amid the escalating armed conflict between Israel and Iran, the Department of Migrant Workers continues to coordinate government aid for the growing number of Filipinos who are seeking evacuation from the Middle East. We'll discuss this with DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak. Good evening, Secretary. Welcome to the big story. We're glad to catch you before you depart for Jordan.
Yes, good evening, Seth, and to your televiewers, good evening.
Secretary, first of all, we'd like you to reiterate the offer of help to those who want to come home regarding the salaries or 4 to 6 months salaries. Dahil ang guest po namin kahapon ay tinatanong, fake news ba yan? Sabi namin hindi, pero and we will hold you to your word. So what exactly can they get if they opt for repatriation?
If you are to hold me to my word, then I have to clarify. No, in a press briefing, I was talking about 4 to 6 months salaries in previous repatriation efforts, such as in Lebanon, where the salaries are lesser. But we do give 150,000 pesos financial assistance. In the context of Israel, kung saan mas mataas ng konti ang sweldo, that's 2 months salary. And we will also provide the necessary reintegration assistance in terms of livelihood support. So there will be additional livelihood support and counseling, as well as the psychosocial counseling effort, because they would be coming from a very traumatic situation. And we will have a whole of government approach with the DOH, free medical services, DSWD as well, financial service assistance from SecRex Gatchalian side. And then TESDA, DG Kiko Benitez will be providing free training vouchers so that if they choose to upskill themselves or enroll in a VocTech course, then they will have this for free with allowances on the side. So these are the packages, the whole of government approach, anointed by the President, that will await those who are returning. Of course, medical service, yung sinasabi ko kanina, DOH, Secretary Derbosa, over and above all that, kung kailangan ng libreng paggamot, libreng consultation or treatment, kasama rin yun upon their return.
So ngayong klaro yan, Secretary, tell us about your mission now to the Middle East and how the repatriation will be done?
Yes, we will have uh, uh, an initial batch on Monday, and that's why I've been asked, directed by the president, to go to the Middle East, and I'm leaving tomorrow. First to Beirut as a preliminary stop. So I will talk to the Filipino community there and assure them of the government programs and services that have been so established under President Marcos's administration. And of course, moving on to Jordan, where we will work on receiving those who are crossing over. And there will be a first batch that will be coming home as early as Monday, because there will be time to process them. They will be arriving in Jordan on Sunday, but fly out on a Monday. And we will be ready there to receive them at the crossing. And this will be the first of many batches. 178, according to your report, have expressed interest to come home. So it's a matter of processing the documentation.
So the first batch will be how many? Do we have a figure?
It will be around 26. 26 will be the first batch. We have been working on this anyway. I think I need to emphasize, Seth, that our assistance efforts have started on the ground since Saturday, day one of this conflict. And we have been providing online, on-site evacuation and financial and basic needs assistance and accommodation assistance. We are working on 3 accommodations right now, 2 that we're operating and 1 by the Israeli local government. So preparatory to these on-site assistance, we have prepped them for eventual repatriation. As I said, crossing over to Jordan on Sunday and flying out on Monday. First batch.
Secretary, I have a question. In case some of these kababayans of ours who want to come back have lost their important documents, kasi there were some na nasira daw yung bahay, how does that work? Will they be able to come home easily without, let's say, a passport?
Oh, by the way, before I respond to that question, yung nasira ng bahay, we're currently assisting 67. So the free temporary accommodation, and at the same time assisting 67 of them who are in that situation. Okay, no problem with the travel documentation. Our Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv is on top of the situation. Ambassador Eileen Menjola, we've been working closely with her team. Our labor attaché on the ground, Rudy Gabasan, is doing so. So no problem with their travel documentation. There is always a way to bring home an OFW in terms of documentation. But in the meantime, as I said, speaking of those who have lost their homes, then we're assisting 67 as we speak.
Well, Secretary, nabanggit nyo nga po, over 170 OFWs have already signified that they want to come home. But there are still a lot of OFWs who choose to stay in Israel and Iran. What are some of the reasons that they are citing on why they choose to stay despite the tensions ongoing? Kasi hindi pa po mandatory as of now ang evacuation.
That's right. It's voluntary repatriation. So we go for the good judgment, wise, sound judgment of our dear OFWs. I mean, they made the sound judgment to for themselves overseas employment. So in the same way, voluntary repatriation, we will leave it to their sound judgment. One good reason could be the nature of their work. 80% of OFWs in Israel are caregivers. That which we are most known for, our caring, loving attitude in terms of serving our clients, customers, in this case, their elderly patients or wards in their respective employer households. So it's the nature of their work. They are serving in a dedicated fashion. They have been acclimated to their work environment, emotionally tied to their elderly wards, patients, and it's just our nature, I think, in general. So it's rather attributed to the quality and the work dedication, work ethic of our caregivers. So that's first and foremost, I think. It's the nature of their work. And of course, on the financial side, there is income. There is steady income. But as I said, this had already been addressed by the financial assistance to stem the tide for them. You don't have to be a for good returning returning OFW for good to be afforded 150,000. The important thing is to get one out of difficult or harm's way. Uwi muna. We provide the stemming the tide assistance, so to speak, and then one could come back when all is said and done. I mean, all returns to the normal situation.
You said that the first batch will be 26 muna, but will
Yeah.
they all, those 150 plus or 70 plus from Israel, will be brought straight away to Jordan in one go? Or
Yeah,
by
there
batches
will
then?
there will be through steady budget. It's the nature of the situation too, says security factors. Should I say also bureaucratic administrative requirements. So it's just the nature of the situation. It can't just be one big go. But rest assured, we'll bring all of them home. Those who want to come home on a voluntary basis, we'll bring them all home safely.
Okay, but they won't be together with government officials. I think 17 or 18 government officials who have been evacuated from Israel to Jordan currently.
Well, that would be a different group. I'm not entirely privy to that. They're not OFWs, so I won't be privy to how exactly that would be going. But as I said, we've been acting on the situation since day one. And it will come to pass that they will all be ready for repatriation. And again, as I said, starting with the first batch on Monday.
Secretary, well, the Philippine government has already raised alert level 2 in Iran. It's the same alert level applied to Israel. Tell us about that and the ban right now on newly hired OFWs. So ano na po mangyayari sa kanila, Secretary?
Yeah, Iran, I think your report has already mentioned, we're also bracing for a repatriation. Of course, a drastically fewer number of OFWs in Iran, 30 by the count of our embassy. There are more, should I say, non-OFW Filipinos in Iran now married to Iranian nationals with their fit Iranian children. So that's the bulk of the Pinoys in Iran. But rest assured, we're starting already with at least with a number of around 14 to be repatriated also very soon. I just don't want to give the timeline on the Iran effort, including the details of their repatriation for security reasons.
It's more challenging to get them out of the border than Israel.
That's right. That's right. But at the same time, it's possible. So we can do this in Iran as well. We're working closely with Ambassador Robert Manalo and the embassy in Tehran.
There was also news when this broke out, Secretary, na may mga iba nga na papunta pa lang sa Middle East tapos na stranded po sila sa mga airport like sa Dubai. How are they now and are they back?
So there are 58 total that we've helped. 52 have come home. And we're working on 6. The main hubs would be Dubai and Abu Dhabi. 48 of the 58 stranded in Dubai. They're all home. And we're working on the 10 in Abu Dhabi. So 4 out of the 10 in Abu Dhabi have come home. So just the remaining 6 out of Abu Dhabi. Ito yung mga lumipad Friday, day 0 of the Iranian attack. And then day 1 and day 2. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, last weekend. Lumipad sila, of course, understandably, not fully appreciating the events. So tinuloy nila yung biyahe nila, not knowing na masa-stranded sila. In this case, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So 52 or 58 are home. And we provided assistance upon their return. Kasi they lost their jobs effectively, right? So we also provided pantawid assistance to them.
Secretary, what is your information? Is it possible in the next few days that the airport will be open in Israel, the airports?
I don't have that information. Of course, we've been told of this possibility, but it's hard to second guess, right? Given the nature of the conflict, the situation. But we're hopeful, of course, that Ben Gurion International will open. Amman International is open on a limited basis, and that's why we could fly in. So it's possible to go to Jordan. But having said that, we've already told also our recruitment agency sending workers into Jordan to stop muna until the situation, the conflict has subsided.
But Secretary, before you do head to the Middle East, what are you hearing about the situation on the ground, especially in Israel? Because Philippine Ambassador to Israel, Eileen Mendiola, did say that tensions aren't as high, aren't as tense as before.
Well, we will rely on Ambassador Eileen and the DFA and the DND. We're also in touch with Sec Kibo, by the way, Teodoro. We will rely on the good judgment of the ambassador. So I'll leave it at that.
On the other hand, we're talking about the possibility of the airport opening, but on the other hand, if the situation worsens, you have prepared, you have a plan for, the forced repatriation of our kababayans.
Yes, of course. Of course, we stand ready. We've proven this already over the last few months anyway, since the October 7 Hamas attack, 2023. We had a massive charter plane effort, if you will recall, when Beirut was heavily shelled late last year. So we've proven ourselves in this regard, proven ourselves in other situations anyway, Libya and Lebanon in 2006. So we stand ready for an eventual mass repatriation, if ever.
Secretary, may I just circle back to the beginning where you were going through enumerating the packages and the benefits that our OFWs stand to receive. You mentioned livelihood assistance apart from the pantawid na 150,000 pesos. What kind of livelihood assistance can they stand to get in case, they're deciding na baka gusto na talaga nilang magstay na lang dito?
Yeah, it's essentially access to government or partner government agency programs. So, Sec Kiko Laurel, for instance, has his own agricultural business startups. Sec Chris Roque in DTI has her startup franchising businesses with possible capital funding. Sec Christina Frasco, same, with tourism-related businesses, setting up Airbnbs, souvenir shops and such, tourist guide training. So there are these types of, should I say, reintegration assistance packages from different government agencies. And as I said, their DG Kiko Benitez and Fiesta, free training vouchers with training allowances as the training goes on. And even Sec Benny Laguesma would have his own employment facilitation mechanisms with the LGU pesos, public employment service offices. And so these things are in store upon return by our dear OFWs.
So posibleng may additional monetary assistance.
Yeah. All of these that I mentioned is alongside or over and above reintegration assistance with the respective government agencies assistance packages. So by way of example, Secretary Roque's franchising offers come alongside the loan packages in the Small Business Corporation, which is an attached agency of the DTI. So that's just an example.
All right, Secretary, we wish you Godspeed. We hope mission accomplished. So thank you so much for coming to the show. That was
thank you.
DMW Secretary Hans Leo Katdak.
We're pausing for another quick break, but when we return, we find out how mindful grocery shopping could be a small but valuable contribution to a safer and more green planet. Sustainable shopping is next on The Big Story. Keep it here on One News.
Lahat po ng mapapanood ninyo sa susunod na mga eksena ay fake. Tandaan nyo po yan.
Ngayon, sobrang dali na gumawa ng fake na video. Muka, boses, pwedeng gayahin. Parang totoo, pero hindi.
Yung fake videos, pwedeng gamitin yan para manghingi ng OTP, password, o mag-spread ng maling impormasyon. Gaya nito.
Bro, legit to. High return in just 3 months. Wala kang gagawin.
Oo, boss. Bayad ka. Minimum lang 50,000. May 100,000 ka na bukas.
Oops, fake lahat to. Pati kami FAK.
Nanalo ako. Pero kailangan daw ng 1,000 pesos. Tsaka OTP. Anong OTP?
Inday, na-aksidente si sir. Nasa ospital. Karon dayon og padala og kwarta.
Unsa? Ay, fake pala ako. Pati itong buong eksena.
Good morning po.
may promo tayo ngayon. Tataasan natin ang credit limit ninyo.
Alright.
Pakisend po ng picture ng credit.
Welcome back to the big story. Grocery runs are part of our everyday life, but did you know they quietly carry a huge climate cost? The United Nations says the global food system accounts for nearly 30% of greenhouse gas emissions, and all the food that we waste, that alone adds over 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year. But what if grocery shopping could actually be good for the planet? Here we feature companies with earth-friendly initiatives, one story at a time. Welcome to Sustainability. Okay. Mindful eating is one thing, mindful consuming is a whole other conversation. Our guests tonight believe in making health and wellness accessible to all Filipinos while minimizing their impact on the environment. We have the folks from Heyday, Managing Director and Board of Director member Ryan Tan, and Merchandise Head Grace Opeña. Welcome to the both of you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, I've been a frequent customer at Heyday. One thing that struck me is your packaging. You come away with cassava bags here.
Yes.
Instead of plastic.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that we're doing in the store is we're making it easier for people to live a plastic-free life, one step closer to a plastic-free life. So our store, when you buy
You
something
don't
from the
pass that
store,
to the consumer, the cost
no,
of this.
yeah, we don't. It's when you
Yeah,
buy,
usually you
it
get
comes with
an
a
additional-
cassava bag. And the thing about the cassava bag is, once you put it in water, it actually dissolves and disappears in a matter of minutes.
I've never tried
5
that.
minutes. You should try it later. We'll leave this behind.
So if you keep it for a long time, the humidity will kind of
Yes,
start
it
corroding
will.
it. Yeah,
It will. It will.
So you bear the cost of this
Yes,
packaging.
we do.
Though I would like to mention also that this isn't as sturdy as plastic.
Okay.
So I feel like our consumers are okay with it. Like they're not really after us for a sturdy packaging. So I feel like we bear the burden together. So they're patient enough to have something as soft as cassava. And we bear
Yeah,
the
it
cost.
feels so.
It feels so nice. Like it's like in a stretchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, your business, your family business is really in retail.
Yes.
And you supply, what is it? Tell us about what you do, what your family does, and what inspired you to come out with Heyday.
Well, the main inspiration for Heyday is really the consumers themselves. It's really like, a clamor for when we tried to look at a business opportunity, we saw this glaring shortage of the availability of healthy food in the Philippines. And there seems to be a clamor of the middle class to have more access to healthy food. And that's why we got
Na
Heyday.
hindi mahal.
Well, hindi ganun kamahal, right? So healthy food at a certain extent is a little bit more expensive, but we brought down the prices quite a lot.
How are you able to do that?
Grace.
Grace, you choose the products as merchandising head.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm a
Let me
provinciana.
Ah.
I grew up in the province.
Okay.
And from Mindoro, it's a very agricultural province. So I saw the value of going straight to the farmers. So that's how we were able to really put down our costs while also supporting the livelihood of our farmers here.
So do you have like contracts with them? Like, oh, we're gonna order X amount of is that olive
We
oil
we purchase every day. We pay in cash every day,
Every
and we
day.
arrange the transportation from
Every
the
day.
farmers.
These are farmers from all over the Philippines. Or is there a specific?
Yeah, in a few locations. There's a nice thing that the
Diretso
team.
na from farmer to your store.
Yes. And it's not just that. We're in the process of getting to know the farmers themselves, getting to know their stories. So our team, a couple of weeks ago, went to Baguio, spent 3 days with the farmers, and planted ourselves.
What did you plant?
Oh, Grace, maybe you can tell us about the experience. Di ako kasama.
Maybe he's so busy.
Anong tinanim nyo, Grace?
Well, we harvested carrots. That's when I first got to know that carrots smell amazing when you're harvesting them.
When they're
When they're
fresh.
so fresh. And then
Amoy lupa.
Not at all. It's sweet, honestly.
Yeah,
That
sweet,
surprised
sweet.
me.
True.
We planted strawberries because that's what we're known for.
You sell them at 99 pesos.
Yes. Whatever the season is, kasi we were known for that. So we want to offer it at 99, whether it's in season or not.
So the price is just 99.
Always at 99.
250 grams for 99 pesos. It's
Yes.
usually 130 pesos elsewhere.
Or more.
One
more.
thing
Yeah.
also that struck me about your store is you can bring your own container and fill it up with either virgin coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil.
Yes, anything in fact.
Anything.
Well, anything in the refillery.
And what are the products there?
Here we have different kinds of. This is
Himalayan salt.
Himalayan pink salt. It's
Yeah.
one of our top products.
Pwede rin yan?
Yes.
Na you
You
have your
refill.
own container?
Absolutely.
I did not know this.
In fact,
And they're measured by, how do you
They're
determine
weighed.
the price?
We
Just
weigh
by
it.
weight.
So our store in Makati is a superstore for health, everything health and wellness. And basically, it's 534 square meters, and half of the store is a refillery. So what does that mean? It means you can bring your own container. You can buy over 250 kinds, 250 or 300 kinds now. 300 kinds of dried fruits, nuts, vegetables, oils, and different teas, coffees, and different things.
Spices.
Yes, buy them by the gram. So we always say it's good for you, it's good for the planet, and it's good for your wallet because you don't buy anything you don't need.
Right. Just take what you need, right? That's the whole
Yes, you
concept.
take what you need.
Yeah, and kahit konti lang. Like, let's say, I'm very
Parang
mahina.
tingi-tingi mentality.
Tingi-tingi
Yes,
kaya.
yes, yes.
So I don't have to buy this much.
You don't have to buy the container. You can bring your own container and we'll put
And
it
then
in your
just weigh it.
container and just weigh it. So we're also selling glass jars and packaging. So it's all of these are reusable. So the thing is, we're making it possible for people to live a plastic-free life. I mean, a little bit closer towards that because of these. So when it comes to soaps, we actually sell packaging-free products, packaging-free soap, like even detergents, shampoo bars. So a lot of these things, and it's pretty interesting so far. The people love
Do you
it.
produce those, like the shampoo bars, or do you also partner with like local artisans?
We partner with a lot of local artisans. Yes.
How long did it take before it came to fruition when you had this idea? And then, syempre, ang dami mong kausap na supplier, farmers, etc. How long did it take?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It was almost 2 years of preparation until we opened the first store. It's at the ground floor of Glorieta in Makati. And then our second store, we opened last week in Alabang. So.
And more stores to come, hopefully.
Yes. There will be 2 locations in BGC. One is opening at the end of this year, and then one mid-next year.
QC or Pasig.
In the north.
We're looking. There's a clamor, or a lot of our customers are asking us to build stores closer to their homes. So hopefully
For less
soon.
emissions, right?
Yeah.
How about, you also sell chicken, pork, fish. Where do you source these?
We also source them locally. However, we can only sell them right now frozen, but they're also sourced locally. And Ryan mentioned earlier that we opened in Alabang. We have a new baby in that branch, which is the Heyday Tonic and Brews.
What's that?
So every time I'm in the refillery, because I assist customers myself, I love the conversation in the refillery section. The question is always, will this make my coffee taste weird? Because we also sell superfood powders. So for example, I always say that lion's mane is good for cognitive boost.
I take that.
Yeah, so we sell them.
Lion's mane mushrooms.
Yes.
Now, in what form do you sell them?
Powder. We sell them by the gram also. So we really sell as little as you need. So we came up with the tonic and brews concept because we want to show our customers how you can actually use our products.
So there's someone who will explain.
It's really like a dine-in experience. You can have your normal coffee.
Ba't wala niyan sa Makati?
This is the evolution,
So the concept there is functional foods,
Yeah.
right? So these are food that actually helps you become healthier. So it's coffee with ashwagandha to help you feel more relaxed. So coffee with certain like add-ons basically that make it healthier. So it's one of the things we're pioneering in Heyday as well.
The lion's mane is locally sourced?
No.
Very important.
I was gonna ask, is everything locally sourced? For example, Himalayan salt. We can
Siyempre,
make.
hindi.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's from Himalaya.
It's from the
Nepal.
Himalayas.
Pero we do
Yeah.
have a lot
Yes,
of
we
local
do.
salt.
Whatever we can source locally, that's always the priority.
Okay.
But
Okay, I wanted to ask about the habits and the attitude of Filipino shoppers. What surprised you about them? You did mention, Ryan, about the clamor of Filipino shoppers. Would you say that there's really that shift in the mentality of Filipinos when it comes to being more sustainable?
So the thing is, before we started Heyday, we did our own survey, and we found out that over 8 out of 10 Filipino middle class are actually looking for ways to live healthier lives, and they're willing to pay a little bit higher for healthier food. So people are getting more aware of the impact of chemicals, packaged food in their bodies. So that inspired us to do Heyday. So another thing, a while ago we talked about meats, for example. What sets our meats apart is we sell probiotic chicken. So they're basically like
Paki-explain ano yung probiotic.
So organic sila. So organic. So there are no hormones involved in raising them.
No antibiotics.
Yeah, grass-fed beef, ocean-caught fish. So they're not farmed. So these things are, it's going back to our roots, because to be honest, our ancestors, we used to all eat organic. Diba? Like only 50, 60 years ago, there were no synthetic fertilizers. There were no hormones and antibiotics on their meats. And the Filipinos of
Sorry
old...
to interrupt, pero yung farmers, you're sure na hindi sila,
Yes,
harmful
so basically what we do there is we call them naturally grown produce. In the Philippines, we don't have an organic certification body yet.
It's too expensive.
Yes.
Exactly. It's
So,
not affordable for the farmer.
Yes. So we don't call them organic produce. We call them naturally grown produce because the farmers don't use synthetic fertilizers and then pesticides. And then we work with them. So, yeah.
Have you helped them? Like, for example, did you find a farmer who was almost doing things maybe 80, 90% right, and you just needed to kind of like give them a push in the right direction, or something like that in terms of their methodology and their process?
Well, we started with one of our earliest suppliers. Actually, is one of our consultants, and then so basically what we did was it's a small farm that we work with, so we know that they don't have neighbors that use synthetic fertilizers and synthetic pesticides, and we actually went to the place, saw the practices, and so we started with that. We started with people who know it more than us, and we learned. After we learned from them, it's about teaching other farmers to follow these things. So, yeah.
Is it profitable?
Heyday?
Kasi,
sorry?
Yeah. Selling health. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, some say being kind to the planet can be a loss.
Well, it certainly has more costs, right? Maybe other businesses would be more profit-driven, but for us, we're impact-driven, right? So for us, in terms of our equation, what do you mean by profit? For us, profit is the impact that we make on our customers, because with Heyday, they live healthier lives. The impact on our suppliers, so these are all our stakeholders. And we always like to say that the shareholders is the last.
Really?
Yeah.
Like for instance, ito, magkano ang isang ganito? Do you know the
What's
price?
the cost for
Yeah.
To be honest, mahal yan, mahal.
Yeah.
And to be
Kaya nga,
honest,
magkano?
it's double-digit peso.
the biggest size,
Yeah.
I'm curious, actually, when we were talking about this at the beginning of this interview. Wouldn't your market wouldn't your market be the type who have tote bags in their bag?
Yes, we would love them to bring tote bags. So if they bring tote bags, they can use it. But if they don't, at least we don't need to give
Siguro
them.
pwedeng mas may discount sa
Actually, may discount
ba?
Pag may-
Meron.
So if you bring your own bottles, we give a promotion, an automatic promotion, and then if you bring your own bag, there's another level of discount.
Kasi,
So we incentivize our customers.
double digit naman to. Pwede bang kainin? Hindi.
Baka matunaw.
You will digest it.
Great.
smells good.
Very few retailers do practice, earth-friendly packaging, right?
Yes.
Mabibilang
It
mo
took
sa
a lot of
kamay.
courage, to be honest, because when we started, we're a startup. We just started our first store last year, and we don't have historicals. We don't have something to benchmark, right? So, and these are costly things. But we believe that it took some courage to actually start putting the environment ahead of our profits. And we hope that more and more people would get to know our store and would appreciate what we do.
And this is proudly made in the Philippines also, our cassava bags.
Yes, I think that's something we can export nga eh. You know, you might want to look into that. But anyway, we'd like to ask both of you for your parting shots. What can you tell our audience that's watching who are interested in, you know, living a healthier life and being more conscious consumers?
Oh, where's the camera? Here?
You can look at any camera. Here.
No, but you know, all we can say is we believe that for you to live your best life, it's about living a life of wellness. And that's what we're here for. We're allowing people to experience that, you know, through our store and what we do. So please, we hope to see you in the store.
Yeah, let's spark up conversations when you're in the store. If you're having any questions, we have pharmacists, we have nutritionists. We're with you with any part of the journey you are in. And yeah, we hope to see you soon in our cafe also.
You're all cafe meron?
Sorry, Tonic and Brews. In Alabang.
They're also online.
Yeah,
So I talked to you guys kanina.
We are
Well,
online.
thank you so much. It's always a joy to meet people who are very conscious in contributing to caring for planet Earth. Thank you.
Thank you so
Ryan
much for
and
having us.
Grace of Heyday.
All right, moving on to other news, where PLDT and Smart are warning against the spread of fake AI-generated content online. The companies released a video created entirely by artificial intelligence to show how easily technology can be used to manipulate information. Through this campaign, they urge Filipinos to be vigilant, verify sources, and think twice before sharing content. PLDT and Smart also called on the public to work together in combating digital scams that use deceptive media to mislead viewers.
Let's be aware. Magtulungan tayo na maintindihan ng bawat isa ang mga nakikita at napapanood natin.
Uulitin ko lang ha, ang lahat ng nakita nyo, fake. Walang totoong tao dito. Pati ako fake.
And for our big picture tonight, the National Museum of the Philippines, or NMP, is glowing with pride, literally. As part of its Pride Month celebration, the institution has lit up the facade of the National Museum of Fine Arts in rainbow colors and raised pride and progress flags across all its branches. In a post, the NMP said the show of colors is their way of standing in solidarity with the LGBTQIA+ community. And if you're planning to drop by, do take note that the National Museum in Manila is now open daily from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with free admission for everyone. So, if you are looking for a sign to celebrate Pride, how about that museum visit? Very
You
nice.
know, going back to that AI video, pag masyadong malinis, guwapo, maganda yung complexion.
Parang wala man lang tigyawat
Oh,
or fly
diba?
away hair.
AI.
No, but you know what's alarming? Some news anchors, diba, their faces are being used to in those AI videos also. Andre was a victim of
I
that.
got one too.
You?
Yeah,
as
I
in
was selling some scam.
You also?
Yeah, and it was taken from the big story.
Did you see it in your own timeline? Your own
Someone
feed, or-
sent it to me, and then the voice was so freaky.
Your voice.
It was your voice.
But that wasn't what I was saying at that time that video was taken.
Were you able to report it? But that's the thing, right? You don't know where to report it. You don't know what.
Just go on your social media and say, that's not me.
Yeah. But then
Diba?
it isn't showing up in her timeline. So I think they purposely block it from your...
That's so smart, no? But I saw the one of also Kabayan and Mel Tiangco together, and that kind of raised an alarm because they're from different networks.
Yeah, pero ang mga daming ang naloloko dyan sa AI na yan. Yeah.
Okay, and so that's it for the big story this Thursday evening. Thank you so much for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Coming up next, as per usual, play-by-play with Andre Felix and Cheska Liton Calao. Hi, guys.
Good evening. I want to say good evening also to your guests, by the way. Big fan of NAVCO. And I just want to say, yung Garmin Forerunner 965 po gamit na gamit. Birthday gift sa akin ni Pao yan. Nung, ano.
Talaga ba?
But they're here for
I
Heyday.
know, sustainability for
Yes, vegetables too, Andre. Vegetables.
I love vegetables. No, I don't eat vegetables.
You have to work on converting, Andre.
A sustainable lifestyle.
I eat naman
Healthy
broccoli,
lifestyle.
lettuce, ganyan.
Choosy lang.
Pag kumakain naman, choosy lang. But thank you for being here on the show. Thank you again, ladies, and happy weekend. Ay, sorry, Thursday pa lang pala. Friday pa tomorrow. But great show once again. The big story, primetime newscast here on One News to Sess, to Sean, to Pauline. And tonight on our show, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder looking ahead to a potential title-clinching match in the NBA Finals, plus the Indiana Pacers check and their waiting game. I know. On Tyrese Halliburton's injury and his availability in their next match.